Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode here of Stallions Run. I'm, of course, your host, as always, Buck, with my co host.
Scout.
Yeah, there you go. It took you long enough. But anyway, let's get right into things. Of course, start off. Let's talk about the UFL schedule. It is out. We know what it is. We know when and where the Stallions are going to be playing, starting from March 30th. Scout, of course, we knew this date already. We knew March 30th, the Birmingham Stallions would be traveling to the Arlington Renegades to kick off the UFL season, be the very first game. Now, let's go and talk about the details. It's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. So that's going to be 12 noon for in both in Texas and Alabama. Uh, Start off with an over-the-air broadcast, especially for a big game. What's your kind of thoughts on that first matchup?
Yeah, also, and a little side piece, because I like talking about the uniforms. They used all the primary logos, but they used the Arlington, I forget what they call it, but like the cowboy, like the original
Yeah, like
Arlington
the
Renegade
Bandit.
XFL 25. Yeah, and I like that
Yeah.
more. I think they should keep that. I think it should be pretty cool. I like the schedule. I like how it's shaped out. The only thing I'm kind of bummed about is so we're going at Memphis, or not at Memphis, at Michigan in week two. I was kind of bummed at
Hmm.
that because I don't think I really can't go like week two somewhere. But San Antonio week nine could be a fun trip as well. But then we got Memphis, DC week three and four at home. We have another duet at home, St. Louis and Houston, and then we finish the season with Michigan. So at home.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, let's go and talk about that first matchup. Like I said already, we know it's going to be Fox. We know it's going to be at 1 o'clock Eastern. So again, noon where we are. I'm going to be at this game. I'm actually playing at the moment. I haven't locked down everything, but I am planning to be attending this game. Hopefully on the sidelines. Who knows? That's always a bit of a tricky thing. But what's your thoughts on this matchup? We already talked about it a little bit because we've known this matchup since the first of January. But now that we know officially when and where it's going to be, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's kind of how do I say it? It's a nice matchup. It's a champion on champion, gold on gold. I do think it's a bummer that it is a noon game. I like you might not see a huge amount of people watching it at noon, but then hey, there could be a
Hmm.
completely different idea of hey, there's people like oh, there's football on, and it's the middle of March,
Yeah.
so. But I think it will be a good game. I think it's a great game to start, like to be like the first UFL game back. But yeah, and also I like that it's not all UFL XFL in week one.
Hmm.
There
Yeah.
are two interdivision matchups, so like there will be noteworthy games in the first week because I think in both the XFL and USFL you would have these games early on that were out of conference or out of division at that time,
Yeah. I
and
mean, for
you
for
would
the
just be
so if we're talking about USFL. I mean, the first two games. I mean, excuse me, the first two seasons. Basically, the first weekend was always out of conference games, and then
mhm.
it would like they kind of alternate between like every few weeks. It would be an out of conference. I didn't like that. You should start in conference majority of the time. So,
Yeah. And
but yeah.
with those weeks now like you'll have one or two games that mean something no matter what, whereas like you would have four games on a slate that were like like they mattered but not nearly as much as a conference schedule would.
Hmm. All right. So then let's go and start talking about week two. So like we were talking about this a little bit. The Birmingham Stallions will be traveling to the Michigan Panthers, playing at Ford Field. That will be on, of course, Sunday, April 7th. That is going to be on ESPN. That'll be a 12 o'clock noon Eastern game, so that'll be 11 a.m. for us.
Yeah.
Bit of a one to wake up to, but the Stallions seem to have good luck last year away at stadiums. They never lost away so far. Um, hey, something to look at potentially. Again, going into they're going to be playing outdoor. Then they're going to be playing inside a dome this go around. I guess your thoughts on Birmingham kind of switching, going from outdoors to indoors for week two.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, I was so pissed. I was like, oh, Michigan's not gonna come down to play Birmingham. And then I was like, wait a minute, we're gonna play them twice.
Yeah, wait a
But
second.
but yeah, basically. I think we'll be fine. I think it'll be early for the Panthers, whereas we're kind of, we're already made for the most part. Um, I do think it'll be a test of our defense for sure. I think our front seven will have to have a get right game. But yeah, but it's a interesting opening to say the least. Week 1 and week 2, having that back-to-back road trip, and it's a long road trips, like on that second one, because you're having to
Mhm.
go from Arlington to Detroit. Um, it's gonna be tough, but I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun.
Mm. All right. And then, of course, that'll be the first ESPN game. So the first off NBC or Fox broadcast for the Steins. I'm sure that's going to be interesting for us fans. We're used to NBC or Fox at this point. Wait a second, we got to go to ESPN to watch this game. All right, week 3. This is going to be a fun game. Last time the Memphis Showboats were in town, we remember the score of that game, 42-2. Basically a rout of that team. This is, however, Memphis Showboats team is basically taking the best of New Orleans and the best of Memphis. So that's a little bit concerning. This will be a night game on Saturday, April 13th, 7 p.m. Eastern, so 6 o'clock for us. That's going to be on Fox. Your thoughts on this very important Battle of the Bones?
Yeah, so it's Memphis, and I think that Birmingham will show out. I think also there will be plenty of easy pulls, easy partnerships and stuff. Like this is like I've been talking to certain people, and I'm like we should be able to get 20 or 25 for the first game. I know that's a lot. I know that's a stretch, but I'm like if we can get 20 or 25,000 people in butts and seats for the first game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be really, really good. But I think Birmingham shows out to watch Memphis a lot, or like watch a Birmingham team play Memphis. I know the UAB Memphis game had a huge amount of attendance, even though it got moved back 2 hours because like miscommunication with the barbecue competition. Um, but yeah, but it was pretty. I think it'll be pretty good. I don't think it'll be 42-2. Obviously, John DeFilippo is the coach now over in Memphis,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a lot of New Orleans players. Um, but yeah, but I think we'll still be fine. We should be fine at least.
Mm. So what do you said it's not going to be 42-2. What do you think the score is going to be?
I would say like 35-21. But like I think
Okay, so
DeFilippo he really doesn't want to lose this one because he beat Birmingham
yeah.
once last year, but then he also got smacked in the playoffs last year. So like there's a rotten
Yeah.
taste in his mouth.
Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be an interesting game. But another one that's going to be interesting. This is one I wish that, and I know that Webb has been like, oh, the ponies they don't want to travel. No, I want to travel for this game. I want to see the reaction. But unfortunately, DC will be coming to Birmingham. That'll be Saturday, April 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern. Once again, that'll be on Fox. But this will be one of the regional games. So something to kind of point out. This will be one of the regional games. So some people will unfortunately not be able to see this game. I'm going to think that this is going to be the A game for Fox. The other game that's going to be, I think, the B game is probably going to be Michigan versus San Antonio at San Antonio. So my guess, Defenders versus Birmingham is going to be the A game. Who knows though? But yeah,
Yeah.
the first regional game, and it'll be on Fox.
Yeah, for sure. And this is one, honestly, I think we should be more scared about than any of the other three. I think they match up
Mm,
really well. I think like their teams stayed mostly the same. I know they have a few switcheroos out there, but I
mm-hmm.
think out of the first four, I would have that one highlighted. Plus, it's your second of a home stretch, but there's no real home stretches in this league. So like there could be like a
Yeah.
false sense of like, hey, we're at home again, it'll be fine. And then like like travel plans get delayed or like you got into town late or something like the day before or something like that. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Mm, yeah. All right. Well, then we head into week 5. The Stallions will be traveling away for this go around. The Stallions will be heading to Houston. They'll be going to Rice Stadium, which of course was announced actually this past Friday that the Houston Roughnecks will be playing at Rice. But so Birmingham will be traveling to Houston. That'll be Saturday, April 27th, 7 p.m. Eastern once again on Fox, and this will be another regional split game. So the Stallions are part of both the regional splits. No, there's three actually. Excuse me. But I believe these are the only two that they're involved in. I have a bad feeling though this might be the B game, just the way it's kind of put. But it's going to be on Fox once again, so easy access for Stallions fans. Uh, your thoughts, Scott, as we enter in this kind of weird uh, Houston's rough gamblers kind of era
Yeah.
where it's Curtis Johnson, and basically it's the gamblers taking over the Roughnecks identity.
Yeah, so I sat back and thought about it about 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, I think the idea was that they wanted the on the field play style of Curtis Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
of those gamblers, but then they wanted like the aesthetic of the Roughnecks. I think like that was their like whole mentality with that. And I think like the Roughnecks, the gamblers made sense in the 80s for the USFL. Like it was a great
Yeah.
brand to represent Houston. But like now, like since then, the Oiler population and stuff has come back up, and you're like the rough or like the grit and grind type mentality has come back to Houston. You can even see that like with the Texans this year. But yeah, but I think it's good. I really like Rice's Stadium. I know like a lot of people think it's like, one of like the decrepit stadiums of in the FBS, but Rice's Stadium is very nice. This is another one I might want to just head out to just because I think Houston's a great town. Um, and the stadium should be like similar to the Liberty Bowl. So like a
Mm.
collegiate atmosphere, but it should be loud and it should be able to, produce a warm environment for the team to play in. So
Mm. Well, speaking of the Liberty Bowl, the week six, the Stallions will be heading there to face the Showboats. That will be a 12 Eastern, noon Eastern game. Excuse me. That this will be the Stallions' first game on ABC. So something to look at forward to that. So on May the 4th, the Stallions will be hoping to choke out the Showboats. I guess your thoughts on this matchup. It's going to be pretty early. It's week six and then week three, and then we're done with Memphis potentially until possibly the playoffs.
yeah, so yeah, I did want to mention that the divisional separations. And I do like them. There's enough in between. I know like the last year the Jaguars played the Titans like in a 4 week span, and this year like we played the Colts in a 5 week span. And it's like I know in 10 games you can get away with like, a 3 or 4 game span, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
the the Memphis one I think is fine because you have an early season game, you have one right at like the peak of your season, right, peak health, peak everything else. So I think this one might be the first one we drop, just because even if we'll probably be battered and tattered through the first 5 games, and then we
Mm-hmm.
get here and it's like it's on the road, and especially if we beat them the first time, like they'll want to get one back because we haven't lost to Memphis, and I don't even know how. Like, have we ever lost to Memphis? I don't think so.
We have not lost Memphis.
No, and we didn't lose to Tampa either. But, um,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah. So I think this will be one where they're also hungry for blood, but it should be fine. It should be fine.
Hmm. All right. Oh. All right. No, there you go. I got to get that out. But then an exciting matchup on Saturday, May 11th, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern on Fox. The St. Louis Battlehawks travel down to Birmingham.
Hmm.
Again, I kind of wish this one was maybe at home. I'm not a fan of the choice that they made for San Antonio, which we'll talk about later. But St. Louis comes to Birmingham. That's got to be game of the week. I mean,
Hmm.
I think there's a reason it's basically like seen as like one of the top games for the entire season itself.
Yeah. I really hope AJ McCarron plays. I know I made that thing earlier in the year about AJ McCarron coming to Birmingham. Um, but yeah, but this one will be a rowdy one. I think this could be one of those games where we see St. Louis come down here and give like 3 or 4 thousand fans, like as an away group. But but yeah, but this is one I can't
Mm.
I can't give you a prediction because we're way too far out from it. But but it'll be a really good game. Like I said, that one might be the game of the year, at least for like the Stallions perspective.
Mm, yeah. Well, then we move on to week 8. This is one that I know some Science fans are kind of upset about for somewhat good reason. The Houston Roughnecks are coming to Birmingham. That's going to be an 8 p.m. Eastern game on Saturday, May the 18th. This is the old league's only ESPN2 game. There's one FS1 game, one ESPN2 game. We got the ESPN2 game. I guess before we talk about the game itself, what's kind of your thoughts on the ESPN2 game and kind of what's your thoughts on it being the league's only one, the Science hosting it, really?
Yeah, so obviously it's deep enough where like it could be flexed. But I think it's just like you only have a certain amount of slots. I don't know what that week is on, like what's on that week on ESPN or what's on that
It's
week on
May 18th. I can't think of anything major besides maybe playoffs. But
May 18th. I mean, it might be baseball. That could be it. They might have like a
yeah, it
baseball
could be it.
game of the week.
Yeah, because I got
But
well, no, that's Fox. Fox has Saturday Night Baseball.
well,
Like,
that's what I'm
there's no
saying.
reason. Like, yeah, so like you could easily put this game on ABC or ESPN itself.
Okay, but
Yeah.
keep getting texted, bro. My fault. Anyways, but yeah, but I think it should
All
be
right.
fun.
All right. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. But then we move on to week 9, the Stallions' last away game. They'll be traveling to San Antonio to face the Brahmas in the Alamo Dome. That's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern on May 25th. That's going to be an ABC game. So I guess give your thoughts on what that's going to be like for again a kind of I'm not going to say a super rowdy dome because St. Louis of course has that no matter what, but still an interesting away game for the Stallions.
Okay. I have mixed opinions about this, and oh, Brahma Bull fans gonna love this one. But it's like if they
Mm,
are competitive by this moment in time, it will be a tough game. But if they fall behind and they're in the 2 to 3 win column by week 9, I think it should be a walk in the park. It's one of those like late AFC South games, like,
mm.
but yeah, but I think it could be a look ahead game because I think Michigan will bounce back this year. I think they will be competitive, and if it is a look
We're
ahead
talking
game,
about
they
San
might
Antonio,
flip a
not
coin.
Michigan.
Well, no, I'm just saying
What'd you say?
it might be a look ahead game like we're looking towards Michigan
We're talking about San
while like
Antonio.
no, I'm saying like during the week of San Antonio.
Oh,
Like
oh, okay. So like
it's
that.
a figure
Okay,
of speech.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, while we're playing, like before we play San Antonio, we might be more worried about Michigan and then slip up in the San Antonio game.
Okay, but to throw some Alabama football on you, you don't want to be an Auburn Tigers facing a New Mexico State.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Well, what's funny about that? It's topical.
It is very topical, very topical.
All right, moving on to week 10. Somehow the Iron Bowl, according to Scout. The Michigan Panthers are playing the Birmingham Stallions. That's going to be a noon Eastern game on June 1st. ESPN to wrap up the Stallions schedule, of course, with a home closer, something I'm interested in. I guess your thoughts on potentially that Michigan game again. You somehow think it's going to be very important. I do think it's going to be important, but not as important as you're saying it is.
I mean, only two teams are making it in, right? And I think
Right.
that it's going to be a tighter competition than it was previously. And I think with
Mm-hmm.
it being a tighter competition, that it could be, even if it's not Michigan, it could be something like, um, we could be tied with Memphis and Houston or something like that, right? And if Memphis and Houston are playing, or I forget if I hope they're playing. I'm making that claim right now. But
Well,
if they happen to be playing, in that week, then you're like, hey, we have to win this game. So.
mm. All right. Well, then let's quickly just kind of go over dates for the conference championship. So ABC and Fox will be splitting that. We know the time and the date for whichever championship ABC is hosting. My guess they'll be hosting the XFL one. That'll be at 3 p.m. on June 8th. Locations can be determined, of course. We don't know where it's going to be played yet. And then Sunday, June 9th, it's going to be on Fox. The time is not determined. So, 8th and 9th of June, that's going to be, the semifinals. And then the finals are going to be on June 16th on Fox. We have no idea where that's going to be yet, but apparently right now it's going to be a neutral location. So that the location itself has not been posted out for the public yet. All right. Well, one real quick thing while Scout's texting on his phone,
Oh my
just
God.
so you guys know, pre-sales for single game tickets are on February 20th, and then for the rest of the public, those single game tickets will be on February 22nd. So just to give you guys a heads up on that.
And
Huh?
if you're watching this
And
on
what?
Wednesday, February 7th, you still have time to RSVP for the Stallion Social on Thursday,
Yes.
February 7th, from 5 to 6:30 at Protective Stadium.
All right. Well, speaking of kind of signing up for things, let's talk about the one Birmingham signing. Birmingham has used their last roster spot before training camp on February
Mm.
24th, and they have signed another wide receiver. You want to talk about that, Scout?
Yeah, so it's Chris Lacey out of Oklahoma State. He spent several years in the NFL now. Or his most recent stay was on the practice squad for the Raiders in the 2022-2023 season. Um, he's 6'3", 205, and he's from Texas. I like him. I was looking up some stuff with him. He's basically just a big body receiver, right? Big target. I think we do well with a
Mm-hmm.
big target, and I think we needed more depth at the big target area because we did get Victor Bolden back, but Victor Bolden wouldn't be is not the tallest man on the field. Um, but definitely, Chris Lacey is he's a dog. I think he's a dog.
So, all right. So you're saying Chris Stacy's going to be a dog. All right. Well, that is going to be it for Stallions Run. Tune in next week. We got a lot of exciting plans coming up. I'm sure we're going to have more to talk about in the near future. I mean, we don't even know the rules yet. So we
Hmm.
got to talk about what the rules are going to be like, how that's going to be, affecting everyone and more. So, as always, I'm in Buck. You can find me at Stallions at UFM. You can find my reactions, like that to things and what's going on in the UFL. Scott, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Southern Charm Sports. I run that with me and some of my friends. We cover basically everything in football in the South, or well, not even just football. We have baseball coming up, got hockey, got tons of other stuff. So.
Mm. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week with more.